I know what you're thinking. But there's still some really great news, and I'm going to share it today. You're listening to the Master Your Lens podcast, episode 180.
Hey, John Lee Dumas here, the founder and host of EO Fire, and welcome to the Master Your Lens podcast, the photography podcast dedicated to sharing inspiring stories, technical tips, and powerful secrets to help you become a better photographer. And now, your host, Matthew Jordan Smith.
Hello, Photography Nation. Welcome back to the show. Well, a lot has happened since we last met. And while for many around the world, there's a lot to celebrate, there's still a few hiccups in the road. But today we're talking about a very different subject. Something you may not have heard me talk about before. Today we're diving into talking about shooting with natural light. Yes, you heard me right. Taking pictures, photographs, using natural light. You know, I'm known for using lighting, and I must say, light and my use of light has made my career. But I want to go back before that, before I learned how to use artificial light. Back when I said, I only shoot with natural light. I know there are a lot of people who only shoot with natural light. So today, we're going to dive into that subject, working with natural light. This past weekend, I did a photo shoot on location, and believe it or not, I chose to shoot with natural light. On this shoot, I'm working with a model I've never worked with before. I find a great location. I check the weather. You've got to make sure it's not going to rain on your party if you're going to shoot outside with natural light. And I was in luck. No rain. So I go to this amazing location. A small crew, just the model and a hair and makeup person. We get to the location, and it is absolutely beautiful. I checked the weather, and the forecast was for an overcast day, the entire day. So this can be really beautiful light to work in, but you still need to pay attention. We started early, and when I'm shooting outside on location, I always give extra time just in case someone's running late or gets lost or anything that could happen. So I always put in a 30 to 45 minute window just to make sure I'm there when I want to be there. This little habit always pays off. If you're going to shoot with natural light, you've got to know the sun doesn't wait for you. So I always tell my team an earlier call time than I actually want, just because things happen. Luckily, everybody showed up exactly on time, and we got to the location a little early. Once we're there, we start doing hair and makeup, and as my team's doing the hair and makeup, I go into doing my thing, scouting for locations and checking the light. Now, maybe you're wondering, how am I checking the light? I'm using natural light. Well, I'm still checking to see the direction of the sun. Even though it's an overcast day, I still want to know, where is that sun? Now, it's overcast, very thick overcast day. I can't see the sun, but I know it's up there. So I use my light meter. Yes, I use a light meter, even when shooting on an overcast day, even when shooting in natural light. It's beneficial on days like this because you're not really quite sure where the sun is, possibly. Also, the light can change drastically on an overcast day, and you may not be able to tell unless you train yourself to see the light on an overcast day. While they're doing hair and makeup, I'm looking for great locations, and I'm looking for light. I find a few locations that I like. I check the direction of the sun using the Sunseeker app. I love that app. If you haven't used that app, it's a great app to use. The Sunseeker app will tell you the direction of the sun, the direction the sun's moving, sunrise, sunset, you name it. It's a great tool to use for those who shoot only in natural light. Well, honestly, if you're a photographer, period, that's a great app to have in your apps on your phone. I've used that one for a long time. After I find my spots, I go back and check on my team, look at the hair and makeup. Then we also talk about wardrobe, clothing. The model pulls out the clothes. This is actually not a job, it's a test. So it's just myself, the model, hair and makeup, getting together to make new images. So the model brought her own clothes. I'm looking over what she brought. I'm looking over the clothing that she brought, and it looks great. So the model and I spoke the night before. I told her what I wanted. We're shooting outside. It's the fall. The colors are about to change here in Japan. So I told her what I wanted to bring. She brought a few options. I looked at her clothing, and it was perfect. Once I saw everything, I made a choice on the first outfit. My makeup artist says, "Oh, this is a great way to start." And he planned how he'd do the makeup from that point on. So now hair and makeup's done. My model ducks into the restroom, gets dressed, comes back, looks amazing, and then I go to a location that I'd found earlier. Now, when I'm scouting, I can't see the light. It's just me scouting. So I look for how the light feels. I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but you can feel when the light's on you. You know you can feel the light on a sunny day. You know what that feels like. But even on an overcast day, you can feel the light. You can feel when it's bright and you can feel when it's not bright. So as I'm by myself scouting, I'm looking for the light and feeling the light. I think this one area looks great, but I go to the area where I'm going to place my model and I stand there and look in the direction that she would be looking in to feel the light on my face. To double check what I think is right, I use my light meter. I read the light on my face where I think the sun is or the light is, and then I'll turn backwards to check the light in that direction. If the light that's hitting my face is brighter than it is when I turn around and I'm backlit, I know I have the right type of light. The sun is facing my model in that direction that I want. So my model gets there on that first location. I put her right where I think the light's beautiful. And then I finally get to see the light on her face. It's soft and it's beautiful. I use my light meter, double check my light, and we start shooting. Now, the purpose of this shoot was to tell a full story. I wanted to have at least 8 pictures or 8 pages if you're thinking about a story for a magazine. I always think in pages. Maybe it's a habit, but that's what I've always done. I'll think about pages. I'll think about a layout. I'll even think about a cover option as I'm shooting. So I shoot a lot of my images in the portrait orientation. Once I feel I have great images in that orientation, vertically, then I'll turn and shoot my pictures horizontally. Now, the reason why I shoot both ways is because I want to make sure I have great shots for a story. But I don't know what's going to work in the story until I get to the editing. So I'll shoot both ways, vertically and horizontally, because I'm not sure what's going to work for a layout. Then I'll shoot tight images. On this shoot, I brought 2 lenses only. I brought a 35mm lens to go wider and show more of the environment. And then I brought a 105 lens to go tight, to show more beauty, to make my subject really the hero. Now, for the first image, I shot only with the 105 lens. I want to really focus on her to begin the story and to get her more comfortable with me. This is our first shoot together, so I want to set the pace and the tone right away. Once I feel we have those first images, we move to our next location. I'll go through that same sequence, looking for the light, verifying the light, verifying the exposure, shooting vertical, shooting horizontal, shooting tight, then pulling back. I want to make sure I have a lot of options when it comes to editing and telling a great story. You see, it's one thing to take a nice picture. Today, anybody can do that. It's something totally different if you can tell a full story, realize a full idea, and express that idea visually. So the shoot continues. We go from location to location, and each time we change locations, we change the wardrobe. Sometimes it's a big wardrobe change, like the entire outfit changes. Other times it's not. It's a small change, like either changing a scarf or adding an accessory or changing hair. All of those are options to make an image look different. I'll also change my lens. I'll go from a 105 lens to a 35 millimeter lens, and I'll get great images that way. Around the fourth location, I want to change things up a bit and add another element to the story. When you're telling a story, you need images that not only look a certain way, but feel a certain way. The first part of the day, I was shooting still images. And by still, I mean the model's staying in one place and she's looking at me or looking off camera. But she's still for the most part. But to really tell a beautiful story, you need motion and still. And by motion, I mean the model's in motion. She's moving in some way. There's some type of implied motion or implied action going on. So for this series, I changed to the 35 millimeter lens. I'm shooting wider. I'm showing more of the environment. And I decide to have her moving. She's going to walk through a scene and I'm going to follow her. I need to make some adjustments in the way I'm shooting. I'm always checking my light with my light meter, but I'm also thinking about my focus. When she is still, I can place my focus where it goes to just her eyes and focus on just her eyes. However, when she's moving, I want to change the way I focus. Today we have great cameras with amazing auto eye focus, and that's great. But when I'm shooting in a manner like a fashion story where the model's moving through a scene, I'll change my focus and place it where I put her in a box and have it follow not just her eyes, but her entire body. And that's what I did. I love shooting that way and focusing that way when a model is moving through a scene. Now, I want to make sure you understand that and get that. When she's still, I'm focusing one way. When she's moving, I'm focusing another way. Maybe you're wondering why I'm shooting these still images and then shooting motion images, or really shooting the model in motion, taking action in some way. I want to have pictures that really tell a powerful story. And it's wonderful when you can have the opposite happening. Have an image that shows motion or movement next to an image that's still. I love that. It's visually very powerful. So we go through the entire day and make some amazing images. And the entire time, I'm looking for light. We finish shooting around 1:30. We're shooting through the part of the day when you probably have really bad light. Between like 12 and 1, that's not exactly the best time of day to be shooting with natural light. Even though it's soft light, that sun is high or high-ish. But there is a difference this time of year. Because we are in now November, the sun's lower. So you can get away with shooting at a later time because you don't have sun, well, in this part of the world anyway, you don't have the sun as long as you would during the summer. And it doesn't get as high as it does during the summer. But you, as the photographer, you need to always look and see where the sun is. Again, that Sun Seeker app is a great tool to see how the sun's going to move throughout the day. Use that often. By the end of the day, we'd shot quite a few looks, we changed outfits quite a few times, and we had what I feel are amazing images. After the shoot, the entire crew's feeling great. We go have lunch, and then we go our separate ways. I get back, download all my images, put them into On1, start looking at everything image by image, and start doing my edit. And this is where the fun comes in. I get to find my jewels, my best images, find the best ones, and pull a story together. I know there are a lot of photographers who shoot with natural light or shoot landscapes and may not be used to shooting portraits with natural light. If that's you, I want to invite you to my brand new course available with On1. First and foremost, the 2021 version is absolutely amazing. And when it comes to doing portraits, it really rocks. If you want to learn more about natural light and taking beautiful pictures in any situation, in any environment, come and check out this course. It's made for photographers who have never touched a light before. So if you've only shot landscapes, or you're not ready for lights yet, this is the course for you. I take you to great locations and show you how to find light. I'll also show you when the light is bad and what that looks like, so you'll see and understand when you're in a situation with great light and when the light is not so great. Again, this course is available through On1, and it's made just for you. If you've never touched a light before and you're not quite ready to jump into that world of using lighting for your pictures, this course on natural light is made just for you, and it's available now. I told you we had great news today. Despite everything that's happening in the world, you can still make great pictures. And the perfect way to relieve your stress is to grab your camera, get outside, and start taking pictures. It definitely works for me, and hopefully it will work for you. To find out more, just go to On1 PhotoRaw 2021. The new version is really amazing. That's On1, ON, the number 1, PhotoRaw 2020. All right, Photography Nation, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Master Your Lens podcast. I'm going to share some of these images in my free Facebook group, Photography Lighting Ninjas. If you want to know more about working in natural light, meet me there. But definitely, if you want to really learn more and check out this course, go to On1 PhotoRaw 2021. The new version really rocks. Until next week, keep your head up, keep shooting, always dream big. Bye for now.